I'm sure you've heard of all that, Smile Dog, Jeff the Killer, Jane the Killer, Laughing Jack, all those guys.
You dissed them, I dissed you.
I'm not dissing them. Anyway, so I've been thinking, and it's not really, it's something that I'd really like to do, but I'm going to make my own creepypasta tonight. So, if you seriously like this stuff, then you'll probably like this, right? Okay. In 1922, there was this young girl named Eleanor Thompson. Now, this little girl, she was lonely. She didn't have any friends, any sisters or brothers. She was basically an only child. Her parents treated her like a goddess. She was this young, beautiful girl. She was around 13 years old. And she asked for a little kitty. Now, her kitty, she said she didn't want just any kitty. She said she wanted this little calico. So her parents literally took her out and got this little calico. When they went to the pet store, they looked around and around for a little baby calico to fit their daughter's needs. Of course, the little girl was frankly disappointed that her parents came home empty-handed. Alyssa was someone who wanted this cat very dearly. That said something in the beginning that didn't make sense, I'm sorry. But her name's Alyssa. Wisconsin. Anyway. So, when Alyssa saw that there was no cat, she was sad. She was so sad that she lay down on her bed and cried. Her mother, Eleanor, said, "We need to get her a cat, no matter what." Turns out that her father, Mr. James Thomas, agreed. James was unfortunately passing away at the time. He was more of a worker than a family man. She missed her father. She often went, she often cried when her father left. Her mother was a stay-at-home mom. So she scoured pet store after pet store to find this little kitten that her daughter Alyssa ever so wanted. Unfortunately, they were having problems. James was laid off and dying due to pancreatitis. Eleanor, unfortunately, was losing money. She was also a seamstress and made the most beautiful quilts in all the land. Of course, in Philadelphia at that time, it was known that many seamstresses, or even people women at that point in time were actually very much um, not allowed to do them. So, of course, being the seamstress that she was, she made a point. Unfortunately, in 1922, it was bad. She wasn't. She was just barely making money. She had very little opportunities to go out and look for the kitten. And when her father came back, and when her husband James came back, he was often disappointed and or angry. Work was a tireless attempt to make money. Week after week, day after day, it didn't matter how long he worked. He practically lived at his job. One day, Alyssa's father finally passed away on June 19th of 1922. It was hard for Alyssa. The day of and after the funeral, she went to her mother and continuously asked for the black calico. So Eleanor finally caved in and gave Alyssa $30 to go out and buy a kitten. Frankly, she was happy. She went to a nearby pet store and found this beautiful little calico kitten that seemed special to her. But when the owner of the pet store actually asked her why she wanted the kitten, she said, "Because I always wanted a black calico of my own. I never had any kittens." Of course, the owner of the pet store explained to her why this cat seemed so special. It was a black calico because the mother was actually more than just a calico. It was said that the kitten was actually given to the mother, who was a Satanist at the time, but passed away in the early 1900s. She died in 1910, before the start of World War I. In 1917, the cat was found. Of course, it seems like the cat hadn't aged at all, but he'd grown to be 2'3". The cat was actually more than 100 pounds, but everyone just saw her as an overweight kitten. They took her inside of that pet store, and they warned the owner never to sell this cat, ever. Unfortunately, due to the owner's incompetence, he actually made a bargain with Alyssa, saying that she would actually be getting the kitten for $15.29. She paid the fee and then got some food for the kitten as well as some water. Of course, the cat still seems special, only it wasn't as special as she had thought. One day the kitten was actually found. One day, when Alyssa had come home from school, Eleanor had said that the cat had escaped. She drew out a map as to what could have happened. Of course, it was a big deal for Alyssa, so she went on searching for the cat. She found the cat in a nearby corner of an alley on 1600, near the biggest church in all the land. It turns out that the kitten had gone inside the church and slaughtered 3 church members, including the priest. The pastor, unfortunately, was known to be one of the greatest pastors in the world, but however, had not seen this kind of kitten before, and beforehand had sprinkled it with holy water, explaining why the kitten was wet. It was a terrible thing. The pastor was dead, and Alyssa was astounded that this cat could have done this. But the cat just looked at her and smiled, as if he was proud of what he did. He took her back. She took her back, thinking that it was all just a man who had murdered these 3 people. Unfortunately, it was not. These were real humans, dead by the hands of a demonic cat, seemingly alive with torture. She went back to the pet store that same afternoon and asked what was wrong with the cat. He said the owner had said that she had this explained to her hours beforehand, more like a day beforehand. Unfortunately, it was also the time when cats were seen upon as the best pet, unlike dogs. However, this cat seemed to have had a reputation, sneaking into people's houses, finding them. Eventually, he stayed with them for months and years on end. This cat was so evil that he killed its original family. The mother, the owner, unfortunately, this was the time when murder was looked upon as life. It turns out that this cat had killed 6 previous people, all seen by different people. 4 of the 6 who had been reported to have seen this cat went to an insane asylum, but died months later. Their deaths were recorded nearly a week later, after all the stuff that happened. Days, weeks, months, even years passed before they were found and given an autopsy. It was the worst, most brutal murder they'd ever seen. The cat was said to have smiled the rest of its life. Every one of the people he murdered never got the justice they deserved. It was unbelievably terrible. Hey guys, I just told you. So, if you like the video, like and comment if you wish. In the meantime, stay healthy, my friends.